Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Y'all doing all right? Let's get started with the show. Okay. Hey, how y'all doing out there? Y'all doing all right? I'm sorry, we were having technical difficulties over here on this side of town. But is everybody doing okay today? Y'all taking the load off? How's everything going? Do I have an exhausting day? I think I had an exhausting day today. At work, it was kind of hectic, but everything's good now. So, pull up your chair. Come on, have a seat. If you wish to sit at this table, I just want to welcome you to Let's Bring It to the Table, where we discuss ways to improve our lives by addressing issues that directly impact us. Today's topic is quit thinking about the bad and reset and focus your mind's fire for positive thoughts. I'm going to say that one more time. Today's topic is quit thinking about the bad and reset and focus your mind fire for positive thought. Are you able to do that? You think you can do that? I think you can do that. But I'm gonna tell you how if you don't think you can. Okay. Um, Also, if you want to call in, there's the number 678-888-1723. Call in, if you want to ask a question or if you have a comment about today's topic. Follow, like, and share. Sharing is caring, you know, in this society it is for me. Follow, like, and share. Okay? So, to the topic, we're going to go on to better things out here so we can get this done. I got some good news and some bad news. Which one do you want first? Hmm? Anyone care to entertain and say which one they want first? Huh? Do y'all know which one you want first, the good or the bad? Okay, well, I'll go my way. The good news is your brain is hardwired to keep you alive. That's the good news. Well, the bad news is that that same wiring of your brain is annoying you. Do you know that? Yeah, it's annoying you. Let me tell you what's up with it. It turns out that we all have this genetic quirk that causes bad events to remain in our head while happy ones pass right on through. If you're thinking, oh, that's why I always seem to focus on the tiniest negative comment and ignore the positive feedback and you're right. That's it. We can get, and my bestie said it best one day. He said, we can get 1,000 positive feedback. But it's that one thing, that one person, they don't even know you. They don't even do the 3 F's, as I say, feed you, finance you, and, straighten you up. Let's focus on that. But why? Why do we always focus on the bad instead of congratulating and celebrating the positive? Anybody care to share their thoughts on that? But let me say this, but here's a great secret. It's not that not it's a great secret, but it's nothing too big or minute about it. You can use the same biology to build deep, enduring happiness and urge your brain to grasp on the good. You might say, no, there's no way, but it is a way. You can actually take your brain to focus just on the good. Um, a lot of people think that, okay, there's a popular name for it, you know, um, it's a positive, negative symmetrics, or you can call it the negative bias. I call it negative bias. It influences your subconscious mind, the lens through which you experience the world through your third eye, your eyes. We talked about chakras last week. So you experience this world through your eyes. And you know that in studies that they show that it begins as early as 3 months of age. I think it might start more, you know, longer than that, earlier than that. Because babies are now more than ever coming in. They don't have their eyes closed. They open their eyes. They see everything. Some babies are even known to smile at the first glance of mom or hear the voice of dad. So if that's the case, then the brain has a great way to get that surge going so we can just focus on the good. There in your mind, some people, there's a study, I can't remember the guy's name. He what did he call it? Velcro and Teflon. Our minds are velcroed when it comes to the bad. When you know why they call it Velcro? Y'all know what Velcro do. It rips. It takes a quick grip on, and this is what your brain do on unfavorable events, and it stores it. When you're threatened, when your threatened center discovers something to worry about, that's when your center is within you, your solar plex, your sacred area, all up in here. When it grab holds, because your heart is here too. When it grabs hold sometimes and it centers it there. So guess what then the brain does? It worry about it. It immediately takes over your attention and transmit the bad experience to your brain long-term memory. Sometimes before you even aware of what happened. Did you know that? And you want to know why? Because the subconscious is at work. So when the subconscious is at work and the long-term memory is getting fed, and without you even thinking about it, you might say, "Oh, I'm not worried about that. I'm not even phased about that." But you are, because it started working in your subconscious. Your brain supposed to be, can be like Teflon, because the Teflon part of it is when it comes to the positive. It does not process happy events as rapidly, and it takes considerably longer to detect the negative experience. That's when your subconscious is at work. Your brain, when it comes into positivity, it doesn't detect happy events as easily, and it takes significantly longer to imprint them in your brain long-term memory, like 12 to 24 seconds, depending on who you read. So let me say this. The reason why, if you're not getting it right now, a lot of us step back from positive. When somebody said, "Oh, you're beautiful," or and I had a problem with that. Because I've learned that, this is what I've learned in my past, that when men would say I was beautiful, that was their way of to manipulate and use me. And it wasn't, and I just thought they were being kind, but it wasn't them being kind. It took a long time for me to realize that that's not true for all. I learned it, in the past 4 or 5 years, that it's okay. You get triggered, I do, when they say things, or you can say somebody say, "Oh girl, you have a beautiful dress on." And the first thing we do, we downplay it. I used to downplay too. I used to even would dummy down or dress down because people would tell me, "Oh, you think you better than me," or "You went and bought new clothes and did." You know, I mean, what? But that was me letting the puppet strings go and didn't know how to set boundaries and know how to just say, "No, I'm this is for me. Ain't got nothing to do with you and nobody else." But your brain can tend to be wired that way to where in a very hurtful way where you always looking at the negative instead of looking at the positive in things. Um, this whole system make logic um, from a survival of the species aspect, if you want to say, right? Because our humanity developed these things, we can recognize, respond to it, recall threats, and more likely to survive. There, it's equatable when youngsters touch a hot stove, even though we tell them not to, they do it anyway. So guess what? Touching it, it causes pain. So guess what? It's there. It's there. It also educates them not to do it again. However, occasionally the same reaction backfires and produces more harm than benefit. Your negative thinking patterns are the result of overzealous survival impulses that you learn to utilize for good. That's almost like trauma bonding or, yeah, trauma. But we utilize it for good because we take that survivor instinct and we pull it to where we use it to work on what we need to gear toward. And so that's what it's supposed to do, gear toward the positive. You know, we have, it's not going away. Revolutionary biology is not going away. It's over 50,000 years in the making of what we've been doing. And however your thoughts to manipulate your brain, it alters your neuron connection. Sounds nerdy, huh? But at the same time, a lot of people don't even think about that. You get what I'm saying? Y'all understand what I'm saying? If you think about all negative things all the time, guess what? You become a pessimist. Like they said, the glass is half full or the glass is half empty. Empty means if you're saying your glass is half empty, you can be considered a pessimist. But if you say it's half full, you're an optimist. I guess that's as plain as I can get it for you to understand. Because sometimes we as people tend to hold on, as I said before, to the bad and the ugly, and we don't even focus on the good. How is it that you can change that? Do any of y'all know how you can change that? How you can really truly start being focused, tunnel vision driven, to make sure that you start changing the molecular formation of your mind, body, and soul to where, because you got to do this. Think about it. Remember last week when I told you that you had to start releasing those blockage? Well, this is part of it. You got to see the good in everything. You got to make your mind shift away from the bad and toward the positive and the possibilities. You know, do you get it though? I hope you get it. I hope you understand. You know, a lot of people, they don't. I know because of the mindset, because it's always about your mindset and how you change things and you do things and you make things come to pass in your head. Again, let me reset the room. Quit thinking about the bad and reset and focus your mind's fire for positive thoughts. Again, I'm going to ask you, do you personally know? How many of y'all, just put it in the comments, how many of y'all know how to do that? I just want to know. How many of y'all know how to do that? It's not that hard. And while you at it, let's do this. If you're new here, I need you to do something for me. Can you do this? And if you're not new, I still need you to do this for me. I need you to scan the barcode. Scan the barcode. This is to the page. Let's bring it to the table. I want you to send it out, follow, like, and share. Okay? I need you to do that. All right? And I appreciate you doing that. So let's do this. Have y'all ever thought about why the hurtful things really get to you and it doesn't matter? Do you know we are geared that way? We were taught that way. Do you know how much negativity you put in your child when you're raising them? I understand the word no, but there's some things that we have to learn to change in order for children to get a better aspect in life. Do y'all understand that more and more today you have children committing suicide because of the bad thoughts that comes in their heads or things that people say that's on the negative? Yeah, I understand. It's supposed to make them tough. I understand that, but all kids ain't built the same. Just like all adults are not built the same. You have to be kind. Be kind. I understand anger can drive you, but don't let it ride you. Take a breath, take a moment, and think about what you're saying or what you're thinking because you don't want that. You don't want that to be your driving force. You want your positive thoughts to be your driving force. I promise you, it's worth it. You know, it's almost you got 5 different ways. Let me tell you this. I want you accept your pessimistic tendencies or what I like to call your negative bias. Like I said before, it may appear that the greatest thing you can do is to feel more at ease, is to turn off the negative response. If you remove that, the cause of the negative, you should have more positive, right? Mm-mm. But there's this one thing about this, one of those unexpected twists that attempting to block your brain's negative bias in, can instead strengthen it. You have this built-in alarm system for a purpose. If you ignore it or try to turn it off, it gets loud. I know, I know, I know. People handle stress differently. Yes, but the stress isn't the part that's the problem. It's the negative aspects of it. And the reason why they hold and it functions on their body the way it does. If you, like I said, it gets loud. So if you have to pay attention because if you don't, it gets louder and louder and louder. You want to know how? When you ignore the self-help and your personal development strategies that you might have for yourself and that are focused on never ever thinking about the unpleasant, uncomfortable, negative stuff, it agitates your brain. And when your brain becomes agitated, guess what else starts happening? It affects you. Hair might fall out, might have problem with your teeth, your skin might break out, anxieties, panic attacks. It's a lot of things. I can keep going on that can affect you, your blood pressure. A lot of us, I try not to be now, but I used to drive on stress. How I met my deadlines, especially on a job, I would meet the deadline, sometimes exceed over the deadline because I had an addiction to having that high with stress. But guess what? At the same time, it was tearing my body down. I got to a place where I had uncontrollable um, blood pressure issues, uncontrollable. Thank God I was only on 4 pills a day, but I decided to take back control, and I start focusing. I start re-changing my aspects of the things that, of how I see things in order to bring a calmness and to center myself. And now I'm down to 1 pill every other day. And my blood pressure is normal, but we're only doing that as a precaution because my family suffers from high blood pressure. I have a brother and a dad who had strokes. One had it 1 month, the following month, it might have been 2 months, my brother had his and almost lost both of them. So, with that even being said, you got to learn how to center yourself, accept whatever it is, find the good in it, and work through the bad. You have to work through it. There's no other way. It's just like having a dart that you're trying to avoid. You accept the prejudice. And now I'm not talking about the prejudice of people, I'm talking about your prejudice of being willing to dodge or to go hand in hand. You know, Buddha used to explain the awful life cycles in which sometimes unpleasant happens. That can be your first dart. If I'm gonna talk about, when you're darting, and then you start feeling bad about the feeling bad, or guilty about feeling guilty, or furious because you can't seem to control your anger. You know, that's is a, something that's dealing with, like, some people tend to call like a meta emotion because it's so much going on at the same time. Have you ever engaged with them impacting you physically? Your emotions. And see, women, we have to think about that because more and more now women are having heart attacks and different things that go on, with their bodies because we are emotional beings. Men are too. They just house theirs differently. But this is widespread and it's very potent on how we handle, and we have to pay close attention to our emotions and how the negative experiences um, function with that. It can positively relate with the depression illness. A lot of people end up depressed because of that. But let's say it this way: when you land where you got to focus on, just reinforce the negative connection with that initial start from when it begins. You think you can do that and then cultivate your mind to be mindful? If you take a minute, just a long minute, and meditate and do meditation, it makes a significant change on how your brain organize and retain information. I'm still working on it. It helps, but do y'all know it takes a minute is long. When it comes to meditate, it's long. And I have to start over, keep starting over because my mind started dwelling to other things. You got to get your brain to organize and retain the information. You can research um, and demonstrate even to your brain when you meditate, and you can alter your negative bias and turn it toward a positive. You get what I'm saying? Let's say you don't like oatmeal, but that's all that there's to eat. And you don't eat that, you'll starve and you're hungry, but you don't like oatmeal. Start telling yourself oatmeal's not bad. A lot of people don't realize how powerful they're speaking their voice and take the deep breaths, steady yourself and truly start looking at that oatmeal differently. And then you eat it. And I guarantee you the taste changed because your mind changed on it. Might not happen the first time, but it will happen. You can alter your way of thinking to make things taste better, make certain experiences not hurt as bad. You know, calm your body is to calm your mind. And you can also use your body to calm your mind. Your brain and body, we always say it's a separate entity, and it is. But for this, just as your mental state influences your body can also influence your mental state. Think about the fear. Think about the butterflies in your stomach. Think about when you're angry, how you raise your shoulders to your ears. Your physical condition influences your brain. It's not just your brain influences your body. Even a small phony adjustment, such as a fake grin, indicates that your brain that things are going well and evaluate your mood. If you can find out how to make your body feel good, your endorphins produce will naturally lift your mood. Exercise is another thing, but you can try the exercise, you know, to in order to, for that to happen. In this day and time, with the way the jobs are going, this is one thing I do notice. Last year on my job, easy peasy, easy peasy, the fourth quarter. I mean, I ran through that fourth quarter like it was nothing. But this year, it was kind of a struggle. It wasn't just me that felt this way. I noticed that a lot of people in the office felt that way. Because I'm always watching people, I'm looking at folks, and I try to take myself and not be positioned to where I can feel that energy from them because I have my own energy thing going on. But sometimes it slips and you can feel the stress that's coming off people, how they feel and the things, that we weren't even allowed this time. And it's okay. We just have to figure out other ways to take our mental breaks because we weren't we was blackout. If it wasn't an emergency, you couldn't, or if it wasn't something already pre-planned and paid for, you couldn't take off. But that's where heal comes into play, and it helps you to transform this here and get your mind, your mental state right in order for you to be able to be positive more often. You know, I don't like worms. You want to know what? I don't like worms. But I know worms have a place here, just not with me. Just not with me. I know spiders have a place here in this world, but not with me. I am happy that they are here, long as they're not with me. You get what I'm saying? So if you use like the heal technique, I think it was Henderson, what is his name? Henson, something like that. He came up with that technique. And this lady had told me about it. It's like you having the experience, you enrich from it, you absorb it, and you link it. Did that make sense to y'all? You have the experience, you enrich it, you absorb it, and you link it. Let me break that down. H is in heal, is have. And you enjoy your experience. Have something pleasant occur, can help you activate that sensation. Just like some people enjoy a cup of coffee, I enjoy wine or I enjoy tea. Like I got my ginger lemon tea tonight. Joking with your buddy, giving your daughter or your son a big embrace. You get what I'm saying? That's having and enjoying your experience. We supposed to do that. Sometimes We don't enjoy our experiences because of other things that we're focusing on, or we're looking for certain things. Let me say this, especially to you ladies, because the majority of the time it's us that do this. When you're in a relationship, learn to trust. Learn to trust. Please learn to trust. It will help you way more better. Because a lot of times when we over and over again, women become bitter women. Bitter. I mean, hater of men, especially black men. Why? Every black man ain't did nothing to you. But see it as for this. Enjoy the experiences you have that are good. But when something ugly starts to occur, learn how to get out. You're gonna have to start learning how to set boundaries. You don't have to stay where you're not wanted. And if they don't have to say they don't want you, their actions can show you. But concentrate on the good instead of focusing on the ugly. You know, I noticed that a lot of men do that. That you don't never hear them talk. Well, I don't wait, let me take that back. Because nowadays you do hear them say that. But back in the day, you never heard a man talk bad about the woman he used to be with. Never. He might say she's a good mom, or she was a good woman, or I wasn't ready for her. You know, I wasn't good for her. But a black man never talked ill will toward his black women. You know, he owned up to and hopefully she owned up to hers. You know, they enjoyed the experience, and they really want to. Such great advice. Thank you. You're welcome, Toyana. They really want to enjoy those and remember those experiences. That's why they keep trying to go back. Think about that. Keep going back. If they're able to go back, they keep going back, which is funny to me. Very, very funny to me. But let me tell you what you do next. The E is enrich, like I said, and you increase the value of your experience. Instead of just letting things happen, immerse yourself in it. You know, how do you think you experience anything? If you're going on a trip, don't just go on a trip and just go lay up somewhere. Experience what you're doing. I have experience in my car ride home. I have experiences going to the gas station. I have experiences going up to the job. Life is an experience. Find the positive and immerse yourself in that. You know, I did my first live with jewelry the other night, and on TikTok. So don't say you didn't see it, because you weren't gonna see it on here, but it was on TikTok, and I really immersed myself in it because it was something that I enjoyed, which was jewelry. You know, and I talked volumes on it. Turn it up. Be happy. You know, when you do things like that, anything you do. I went on a trip with some girlfriends, and when I tell you, that was an experience, because the things that I really like to do, I like to clown sometimes, and they was turned up clowning too. I have my ladybug who I hang out with every now and then. We went to what was that? Was that Target? I think it was Target. Yeah, it was Target, because it wasn't Walmart, because I don't like Walmart. We was in Target, and she was getting some things, and which was so funny. They started playing this song. We started going at the beat. And then while we stand up there doing our little dance while we waiting on them to come help us, the little white man started dancing with us. You see what I'm saying? It was an experience. And I enjoy those type of experiences because I'm able to emulsify myself in there and have a great time, instead of just always looking crazy at folks because you don't know how to have a great time. You have to be able to turn up that volume when you notice something positive happening. Enjoy that moment. So when something do happen within that time frame, it can outweigh, and we can't keep focusing on that little thing. We increase that intensity, and we add colors to our thoughts. because I do dream in color though. So, but that's something else. You got to completely be present so you can install those good memories in your mind. You have to be completely present. Think about it. In anything that I do, I try to be completely present because I want that experience to last me more than anything. Then you're going to do A, which is absorb, and you take into the experience. Just like I said, when you increase the intensity, you get in there and you absorb and take in that experience. Allow some time for it to just settle in your body and physically absorb it. Breathe through it. And I guarantee you'll be grinning ear to ear. This allows your brain to encode it and make it a long-term memory. And so now you don't have to worry about the negative as much. And make negative short term. It's not as easy. These things I'm telling you, it's not as easy as it sounds unless you're willing to let go and let God work in your life to help you get to this point to where you can to absorb these things. And when I say let go, let God do this, that's a link. That's what the L is for. You link the good and the bad. And you describe how the two things are related. Because you got to link it together. I might be out and about having a good time, and then I accidentally bump into somebody by accident and they start cussing me out. Let's link it together. You want to know why? Because this is some next level shit now. Understand that. You might be feeling very upbeat and focused on, but you do not allow that 1 second of an unpleasant moment take over the 20 minutes of the great pleasure you were having. You accept that you had both these experiences, and at the same time, and let them coexist. That's if you can. Sometimes you might have to cry through some of that, but understand the joy of the Lord within all of that, and let the bad sensation gradually transform into a good one. Because this is how I do it with certain bad experiences, because they got to coexist with the great experience. If I'm doing something great, having a good time, and something bad happen, what I do is I take a deep breath real quick sometime, and then I'll say, it's just a moment. If anybody has ever noticed, I can get mad real quick, but I can let it go just as fast. It's certain people, I'll say it like this, like my bestie. He can make me mad. Make me mad, you know, but I can't stay mad. Sometimes I can stay mad. I can be upset, but I don't stay mad. But even being upset, I don't stay upset long. Do any of you ever experience that? I have a sister. Sometimes she can irritate me to my core. But guess what? It don't make me love her no different. I don't stay mad at her. I don't do that. It's to me it's a waste. I accept the experience. I see what I can do to make it better or help whoever needs help to make it better. But like I said, you set the boundaries, you keep it moving. But you never let the bad outweigh the good. Never. Your brain is wired for survival. And it has a natural tendency to recall the bad memories way faster than the good. But you can't let it do that. You can't let it do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't let it do that. You think about it. I know of one time when women do not allow a bad experience to outweigh the greatness and the beauty in what they experience. And that's in childbirth. Childbirth. She's screaming, she's crying, she's in pain. And then when that baby get here, She's all smiles. Some of them be tired and go to sleep, especially if this is their second or third because they already done ran through that before. But the experience of that bad sensation, it turned into a good one because they had to go through it. They went through it all. Even some people have great pregnancy, some people don't. But even though, either way, it still came out to be a good experience because you created a life. You created a life. And that's a magnificent thing that your body go through what it goes through at a health risk. Being pregnant is a health risk. Some people think it ain't. And a lot of women enjoy being pregnant, but you put yourself at risk. We never know how things will turn out. But it's one of the most joyous and most gratifying experiences you ever want to have. That's what I say. You have to wire your brain different. You can't change your wiring if you don't learn to work with it so you can pivot towards your happiness or what you want to be happy about. So accept your biases because guess what? It's not going away. And resisting it just strengthens it. You think you can do that? And stay away from what I call the darts, especially that second one. The first one, you know how they say, the first time shame on you, the second time shame on me. Same thing. So stay away from the second one because you don't want to be shame on me. Feeling terrible about feeling awful, it only adds to the negativity. It do. Use mindfulness to educate your brain to focus on the good. Being mindful is not as easy, but it can get easy. You still got to meditate it. A lot of times when we're out and about, some people don't know how to be mindful of other people's feelings or other people's thought process or even respect it. But if you educate your brain to focus on the good, you're very mindful of other things that's around you. I learned that through loving everybody. I used to didn't really think I had to love everybody, but when one day I thought about what God said, there's only two commandments really important to me, and that's not having another God before me, and He said love everybody. So I had to learn that I can love people, but I have stages. It's everything has a place, of how I love. But guess what? It's love. I can be just as compassionate to someone and love them and not be close to them. That's that love that where you empathize with other humans. Right? You ain't gotta be close to them. You help them. I saw a video last night that kind of hurt my feelings because this white guy was saying, oh, he saw a girl. She looked like she had been drugged. She ran into a pole, and these men were trying to get her out of the car. They act like they was concerned, but they actually wasn't concerned in a sense. And he was like, he got out the car. They told him to get back in his car and go mind his own business. And they took that girl out the car and put her in a truck. And the other guy got in her car and drove it, even though it had been wrecked on the front. And all he did was took a picture of the tag and called it in. That was it. My thing was because of all the craziness that go on, and I thought about it, and I said, could he have done more? Could he have tried to block or got some other men to help him for them not to take her? Because you could tell she looked drugged up. But he took a video. And that just gets to me how people just take videos and do nothing really. But he followed them for a little while. But that girl's missing now. They don't even know who she is. But he got a good video of her. But it's sad. But I said if it had been on the other end, something the other color, whether it was black or white or any other race, they would have came to her aid or other women's aid. But it's always us, you know. Seems like I'm gonna say it seems like they get the bad end of that stick. So don't add to that negative. Try to figure out, people, how you can make a positive. That man didn't make that a positive. He made it a worse situation. The way I'm thinking, I really do. I think he did. He lost the spirit. She's gone. Where, I don't know. It could have been. It could have been better than that. He could have did better than that. But he felt. But and I can't judge him. I just say he could do better than that. I try not to judge him. I just feel like he could have did better than that than just taking a video. He could have stopped them. People put their life on the line every day. Um, but again, like I said, use your mindfulness to educate your brain to focus on that good. You got to focus on it. Even if you burn your hand trying to make tea, understand the tea is good. I don't know else to say that with that part. Um, use your body to calm your mind. Whatever it takes for you to use your body to calm your mind, whether it's exercise, whether it's meditation, whether it's reading a good book. I don't really say go watch a TV show, but it depends on what you're watching. If it helps you to relax and calm your brain. I, for one, sometimes I don't like watching a lot of chick flick stuff. I do every once in a while when one of my sisters insists on me watching it. I like action pack. That helps me. I like TV shows that teach me or show me something different about life. So, you got to get your brain to calm so it won't reverse and make your body start feeling a certain type of way because the subconscious is in overdrive because of something bad. Let the body and the brain interact and reciprocate to each other to where your happy body equals your happy brain, your happy mind. And then, you're okay with that. And again, like I said, if you want to use heal, have a happy experience, enrich it, absorb it, and connect to a negative event that happens. You have to connect to it. There's nothing wrong with connecting to it because you have to know that this happened to you. Now, what can you do to make it better? What can you do? What can you find? There's a lot of negative experiences that I had, but I found the positive in it all. Doesn't excuse the bad. It doesn't. But you connect to it in a way to where you can turn, like, your good outweigh the bad. You can turn it around. I know that might have been a lot of information, might have been nerdy, might have been boring. I don't know. I don't know how you might feel about this, but I want you to ingest it. And the first step is simple in this. When you do it, do only one thing before you go to bed. I just want you to take the first step. Do one thing, one of these things that can turn you around a little bit, that can jumpstart and kickstart. But you take the smallest step. And then watch the good spiral. But it's a kickstart. And it assists you. I promise you. It's worth it. When you change for the outlook. I'm not saying I'm perfect. It's still working on this. This is something I choose to work on. Because guess what? A lot of people start looking like what they feel. The things that they absorb in their body. The things, think about it. You have women who are considered beautiful, very beautiful women. And some people say they're ugly because the inside starts outweighing what the outside look, and then sooner or later it start affecting it. Like I said, hair might come out because of the stressors or whatever, but you gotta start looking at that from a different perspective and start doing what's right, because if you're beautiful on the inside and you have that positive outlook and you try to keep from being negative or having allowing the negative experiences to take over, and let them learn how to balance and coexist and let that positive outweigh it, you can be a beautiful person too. A lot of people don't know how to do that, and then that comes into your spirituality too, because if you allow other, because everything is spiritual. It's not that as the saying said, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. It's this the spiritual world, the energies that we connect, and that can affect you in so many different ways. That's why we have to set your mindset to be on fire. Your mind has to be on fire so that positivity can come through. And I think that everybody's capable in this world of changing. Just stop watching the news so much, because a lot of time people are like, oh, woe is me, because it's just all this bad in the world. But guess what? That's a world outside of your world. Your world, which is you. I tell my son, and one day he looked at me kind of funny. I said, we are a world within a world. When I come to you, I come and be a part of your world. And I step back and I'm back in with just my world. Your world is whatever you make it. I always say that you can have heaven and hell on earth. And I've lived in both. I'm always in heaven now, but I've lived in hell. Don't think that, there's just when you die that there's a place for you. No, it's what you make it here. It's what you make it here. And if you decide that you want good, then you do what it takes for that. Like I said, if you haven't read The Laws of Attraction, maybe you need to go ahead and read that. Or go listen to the audio if you want. There might be a video out there that you can go on YouTube and listen to. I think it is. I don't do a lot of audios, but you can probably go out there and you might be able to find it. And the laws of attractions is a true thing. You are what you attract. And you have to build off your subconscious mind. Let me tell y'all something. I remember I used to go to a whole lot of conferences, business conferences, any type of conferences that was going to teach me how to be a better person as far as when it came to businesses and stuff. And I went to a lot. My brother can tell you, I went to a lot. And this one particular one, he couldn't go with me, and I had to go by myself. And I had been thinking about my job, and the craziness that was going on, and I would be like, sometimes I wish the noise would just stop. And I was just sitting there, and we were waiting, waiting on the speakers and stuff to get started. And so these women came and sat right behind me. When I tell you they got on my everlasting nerve, they was loud. They had negative things to say. You paid $100 to get in there, and you bad mouth every speaker that got up. You had something negative to say. You had something bad to say about information that was given. You tell them, I already know that they're not giving me anything that I need, and I wasted. They're gonna have to give me my $100 back. And I was like, I was done at that point. I got up and I looked around because it was a little break, and I said, I gotta sit somewhere else. I can't sit around here. And this still voice said, no. Did you learn? Did you learn? And I'm like, learn what? What is there to learn? I don't want to be around these women. And they said, and kid you not, it said, clean your conscious mind. I was no different than them. And that was before I had my son. I was no different than them. I might have felt like I wasn't, but subconsciously, I was just as negative as them. Even though I was in a battle of fighting, so I had to learn. And it took time. I had to learn. And I had to change my environment. And slowly but surely, I started changing my environment. I started speaking what I wanted. And I started and not thinking about what I didn't want. Because that's one of the lessons you learn. You never talk about what you don't want. You always talk about what you do want because the universe only hears what it hears. If you say, I don't want no eggs, but I want bacon, you're going to get eggs because it heard eggs and you want it. It don't hear the don't. It hear the want you want it. So you have to change the way you speak things out and how you want things to come, especially when you get ready to do your manifestations. Once you clear those areas in your life from those blockage I was telling you about, once you do that, then you're good. But like I said, get where you can harmonize your body to calm your mind, and then your mind will calm your body, and you'll be happy. And that'll be an experience that you can enrich, you can absorb, and you can connect when the bad comes into play. And your good will always outweigh your bad. Okay? Next week with Let's Bring It to the Table. I don't know if I'm doing Let's Bring It to the Table next week. I might be doing Knowledge Power Hour. I'm gonna see. I'm going to see first. And it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. So I might be coming on more than once. More than once. We might be coming on Sunday, but we're definitely coming on Monday. Don't know if I'm going to have time for Wednesday, but we're going to be at a new location at a new time, but the same channel, which is here. And so, and y'all will see. Those who know, who know. Those who don't, you'll see. I know some of us are pretty excited, but it's good. It's a good thing. So, while you at it, focus on yourself so you can be the greater version of you. And I think that's one of my topics when I'm gonna have to think about, because sometimes we don't really appreciate who we truly are, and we let that mask come up because of the shame we have for who we truly are. I know that. I know it. So I want y'all to enjoy your evening. I want you to find something for tonight that you can make into a happy experience. You can enrich it, you can absorb it, and you can connect. Even if your day was bad or busy or whatever, find something that you can connect that's a positive, but you enrich this. And you can get rid of that negative event. This is, but you got to start somewhere. But to think it's going to go away, to think that to resist it is no. Mm-mm. You have to start here. But again, you already know. So I hope you all, like I said, have a good night. And if respect is no longer being served, leave the table. Build your own. You do what you got to do. Okay? And y'all have a good night.